How's it going? Welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. And this is going to be the second of two videos about this, the Strymon Sunset. But before I get into it, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So, the Strymon Sunset. As I mentioned, this is the second video. I've already made a video about this and you can see the link to it up here. And in that video, I go through the sounds that this pedal has. It has 6 different types of overdrive in it. It's a digital pedal. It has 2 sides, A and B. Each side has its own drive, level and tone. And then there is a geranium drive on the A side, a Texas drive and a treble booster. And on the other side, there is a 2-stage clipping, hard clipping, and a J-FET boost, right? And you can select any of those on these 2 switches, and you can select any combination thereof. And that's all gone through in the first video, okay? What this video is about is actually what's on the back of the pedal here, okay? So you have an in and out, and then you have a favorite jack, which I'll explain in a sec, and you have an expression pedal jack, which I'll explain in a sec, right? So, as I mentioned in the first video, I went through all the different tones, but this pedal has some really amazing functionality that really helps it stand out from a lot of other drive pedals. So, the favorite jack, you can plug in a switch and plug in a favorite switch. What that will allow you to do is you can use you can use one setting when you don't have the favorite switch on, where these knobs are how the pedal is set, and then you can go in and set the pedal to 2 other settings and hit the favorite switch and save it. And then when you hit the favorite switch, it'll switch between the preset that's assigned to the favorite switch and the value that the knobs have here. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain, but I will show you in the audio section of the demo. That's one thing. Okay. The other thing then is there's an expression pedal input, and the expression pedal input can be used for just to control parameters with the expression pedal. It can be used as just a volume pedal, and it can also be used as a MIDI input jack. So the favorite switch and the MIDI input jack are the only 2 peripheral functionality of this pedal that I would really have use for. So that's what I'm going through. So you take a 1/4 inch MIDI cable and you plug it into a MIDI controller, and then you can pull up many presets on this pedal. So that's kind of what I'm going to go through in this video, and it's what makes this pedal, in my opinion, a really good choice for like a very versatile MIDI switching rig, okay? Or indeed with a favorite switch. So there's one drawback too, which I go through in the audio demo. So let's get into the audio demo now and have a listen to these different functions in play. Okay. So how I'm going to go about this is I have this Telecaster, right, which is my, I built it basically from parts. It's got a P90 in the neck and a DiMarzio Chopper T in the bridge. I'm going into my HX Effects pedal board, which I'll stick up on screen in a second. And then I'm going into my Koch C220 on the clean channel, and it's very clean, so you'll hear it now. It's a bridge and the neck. Okay, and what I've done is I'm going to jump over to, I'll jump over to the pedal board cam now. So here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, I have the Sunset, right, and those 2 small silver jacks at the back are in the loop, one of the effects loops here using these jacks, right? So simultaneously, I've also got a MIDI cable going from here into the MIDI input here, and it's the the mini jack, sorry, not mini jack, but 1/4 inch jack. So I have a little headphone adapter to bring it from mini jack to 1/4 inch jack into the expression input, which obviously, as I've explained, I have set up to be the MIDI input. And then I have this TRS cable going from the footswitch or amp control out, which is basically a relay switching jack out of that and into this input here for the favorite switch. Okay, now I am in a snapshot within a preset in the HX Effects. I'll just explain that for a sec. So if I go out of here, you can see, and if I hit these 2, I have a load of presets here on the HX Effects, and this particular preset I have 4 snapshots. So I go into it here, I've got clean. You can't read these, but what it is, this is my cover setup, right? So I've got clean, dirty, heavy and lead. Okay, if I then hit the mode switch to go into individual switches within this switch at the end here is set up, it's called favorite. Apologies if you can't read it, but it's just that the camera can't pick up the text, right? And that favorite switch is set up to send a tip and ring signal every time I hit it to the favorite input of the Sunset. So what that does, right, just to show you is, so let's just say I'm using the Sunset in completely standalone mode here, okay? So playing clean, I can turn on a light overdrive, I can turn that off, I can turn on a heavier overdrive, and I can turn on both. Okay, and therefore I have 3 different sounds at my disposal. However, should I ever want to go from this directly to a volume boosted lead tone, if I hit the favorite switch, it turns on a preset saved setting on the pedal, in which case I'm on the hard clipping side with enough volume and gain to play a lead. So then I can just turn it off and go back to the original settings. Light drive, heavy drive. Oh, sorry. Important to note that that's kind of complicated. Right, I'll go through that again. Clean, light drive, heavy drive. Heavy drive by itself. So that's using the pedal in standalone mode. If I hit the favorite switch, it turns on that lead sound. If I don't hit the favorite switch again, it turns on whatever way I have. And I hit A on the pedal, it turns on whatever way I have that set up for that favorite. As soon as I turn off the favorite switch, it goes back to both pedals being off in the non-favorite mode. So again, you have light drive, heavy drive, hit the favorite for lead, turn it off, and it goes back to switch the pedal off completely. And that's how the favorite switch works. So basically what the favorite switch does then is it sets up 2 other sounds on switches A and B, and whatever way you save it, with A on or with B on or both off, it will, as soon as you hit the favorite switch, it will bring up those 2 settings. So basically it's like a preset assigned to a jack that you plug in. Okay, so that's basically what that is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is switch back to the pedalboard cam to show you how the MIDI setup works using the HX effects to program 4 different presets on the Sunset. Okay, so here we are in pedalboard mode again, and what I've done is I am in the snapshot mode now within this preset, and again you can't read the display, and apologies for that, but nothing I can do about it. So what I have here is I have 4 sounds of clean, dirty, heavy and lead, right? And they will pull up an individual preset each time on the Sunset. And how I've done that is quite simply I've sent a program change every time I hit one of these switches to change the sounds on to pull up a preset on the Sunset. And in this case, 1 being clean sends program change 1, 2 sends program change 2, 3 sends program change 3, and 4 sends program change 4. Okay? And how that works is, so if I'm on clean, program change 1 tells the Sunset to put both presets off. If I go to dirty, it turns on a light overdrive. On the A side, if I hit heavy, it turns on a heavy drive. On the B side, if I hit lead, it turns on a different gain characteristic with a higher level for a lead sound. And that's kind of it. I can go back into those presets and change them and save them again as I want to, but the beauty of this is if I get to a gig, I've got 4 sounds set up, I can just go in and tweak those sounds to the sound of the room, and then however many presets I want to use, however many different presets within the HX effects that I want to have 4 different drive sounds in, they'll always be the same. And that's why this is an interesting setup, and it's beneficial. One major downside here, because the Sunset, unlike the TC Electronic Nova Drive for example, doesn't have any way of telling you what preset it's in, as in it's in preset 1, 2, 3 or 4. That to me makes this hard to do. If I could see which preset I was in by, some method of changing the color of the lights or something, it would help a lot. but it definitely does work. And as long as you don't use too many presets and you can keep track of what presets you're using on the Sunset, it's doable. It's not the pedal I'd choose to use this because you don't know what preset you're on. So there you go. That's how the favorite switch works in demonstrated, and also how MIDI switching works being demonstrated. And I think both work relatively well. But to me, to use presets, you need numbers to tell you what preset you're on. So there you go. Not perfect without the display to tell you what preset it's on. In that way, the MIDI functionality thing is a little bit limited, but a great sounding pedal. One thing I will say is I don't think I'm going to be keeping this, and the reason is it's too, how do I explain this? It's too overdrivey basically, right? So I would need overdrive and distortion, and even the distortion sounds seem to have that smooth, slightly mid-pushed, non-aggressive characteristics to them. It's almost like it needs a 3-band EQ on the hard gain side for me. But it's a very, very impressive overdrive pedal. If you're running a dirty amp, for example, you have every conceivable type of overdrive you could need to pair with it. I just don't think as an alternative to a dirty channel on an amp, it really has that sound. I mean, it is, as it describes, purely an overdrive pedal. But very, very impressive technology. It's very expensive for what it is, in my opinion. But it is extremely well built. It's extremely well thought out. The overdrive sounds in it are excellent. So yeah, there you go. The Strymon Sunset. Throw any comments you have or any questions down below. And if you've watched this far, I thank you as always. And please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. And if so, I shall see you in another video again soon. Cheers. Bye bye.